standard deviation. So what are we talking about today, Bree?
Well, today we're talking about what is standard deviation, how to calculate standard deviation, and the three most important things about standard deviation.
So first, we're going to talk about what is standard deviation. LaQuasia, what is standard deviation?
The goal of standard deviation is to get the distance from the mean. Basically, how far are the scores from the mean?
LaQuasia, that was great, but there are also three other things to remember. One, standard deviation is very reliable. Two, it's relatively unaffected by sample size. And three, it can be affected by outliers. The second most important thing is, so first, you got to have some data points. So we asked each of our group members on a scale of 1 to 7 how much they love statistical psych. Obviously me, I'm a 7, I love it. We have a 4, a 6, a 3, and a 1. So what you want to do with these is make a table. And this is what we have right here, and LaQuasia is going to take it over. So what's going on here, LaQuasia?
Well, we have our X values here, which are going to be our scores. Mike's the 7, I'm the 4, Lee's the 6. We have a random guy with a 1 and a 3 for a break.
So with our data points, we need to find the sum because we're looking for the mean. So to add all of them up, we have number 21, and you gotta divide it by how many data points there are, which is 5. And then our mean comes down to 4.2.
Our next step here is subtract the mean, which is 4.2, from each score that we have.
So now we have a column of both positive and negative values. So with each of these values, you want to square it, which is what the data we've put into this column over here. And once you've done that, you want to add all of them together, and that makes up what we would call the sum of squares, which in this case is 22.8.
All right. Our next step here is to calculate the standard deviation. So here's the formula here. What we're going to do is take our sum of squares, which is 22.8, and then we're going to divide that by 5, which is our population size. So what we're going to do is do that math, and what is the answer?
It is 2.14.
So what does the standard deviation of 2.14 mean? It means that we can expect each individual data point to vary from the mean by about 2.14. I don't know what else to say.
So lastly, we want to remind you of three very important things. So for our study, we did population standard deviation. So instead of using n-1, which you would use for sample standard deviation, we used n. So make sure you don't do that, because that would be terrible. Secondly, it's always good to remember that each individual data point does affect the standard deviation. So they're all just as important as one another, so don't forget that either. And last but not least, multiplying or dividing each score using the same constant will change the standard deviation.
Thank you!